It is so crazy that we got nothing on Godskins and Glowmite Queen, and here we are talking about Stormlord. And if we think of how much stuff they have added and most of it had completed the lore pending in the base game, on top of that they added basically new chapters of Hornsens and Mesmer. And by the lore completion I mean they have completed the whole Dragon Communion and Ancient Dragon side of story. We finally got an origin of fingers, but now they have added so many mystery and elements that we can have just enough idea of who is Stormlord. The Stormlord, who is the ruler of Stormvale Castle and Stormhill. We weren't quite sure about who was Stormlord all this time. The community has been connecting points to dragons or a dude in a chair, maybe Nefeli Lu for some people. Basically in this video I'm going to talk about why is Serosh the potential Stormlord in the lands between. By starting off, we must talk about the biggest expansion of the ability known as the Storm. The Storm calling is one of the many aspects you can find and use in Elden Ring. These include attributes like Stormblade, Stormcaller, Storm Assault, or every single move of Banished Knights. I'm counting all the ones in Stormvale, Farum Azula, and even the mountaintops of the Giant. But actually, the Storm holds many elements within itself. Storm consists of 3 elements, which are wind, lightning, and ice. And by lightning I mean the only yellow lightning. The red lightning is related to ancient dragons. Maybe you agree with this because of the divine beast, the 3 elements he possesses. But actually the proof of this was always been in the base game. One of the storm related weapon that we found in Stormvale Castle is Stormhawk Axe, ability to call a storm of wind and lightning. We found it in Stormvale Castle, the weapon of choice of Nefeli Lu, and the third element ice, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. But before that, I want to point out one important key element in this theory. For this, we must focus on the worshippers and the followers of the storms, which includes Banished Knights, Exile Soldiers, Commander O'Neill and Commander Niall. We have seen Exile Soldiers and Banished Knight using the wind aspect of the storm in Stormvale Castle and Commander O'Neill in the Heart of Aeonia. The version of him we encounter is after he got inflicted by Scarlet Rot, but it is most likely he started with wind element of the storm and later it got infused with Scarlet Rot. Why I am specially pointing out this information? Because the ice element is related to castle soul enemies. Those who possess the ability to call ice storms are the Banished Knights and Commander Niall. More interesting part about this is Commander Niall is known for not just calling the ice element, but also the lightning element of the storm. And turns out this is very similar to what we have seen in Divine Beast Lion Dance boss fight. Holy shit, it's a big sentence.
Sir, excuse me, English or Spanish?
English.
Whoever moves first is gay.
Now this is the second part of this theory. When we play through the Shadow of the Erdtree, we encounter a completely new civilization called Hornsens, known for worshipping divine beasts that possessed scales, horns, tails, and wings. These creatures are considered divine and are closely related to the crucible of primordial life. Even in the base game, we already knew about these creatures and the fact that they are connected to the crucible. But out of all these creatures, the lions are the most interesting ones in this whole video. The lions in Lands Between are known as a symbol of power, and in Shadowrun they are known for their divinity. In the Hornsens culture, there's the highest honor of being the sculpted keeper. There's even a hierarchy system in Hornsen culture that you first start as Horned Warrior, then you proceed to become the Divine Beast Warrior, and those warrior, if they have like minimum system requirement, can become the Divine Beast Sculpted Keepers. The Divine Beast Lion Dance and the Divine Beast Warrior both are known for using the Storm element. This shows lions are much closely related to Storm than other divine beings. We can even see lion depictions and lion statue everywhere in NRLM or whatever how you pronounce that name, I have no idea, and Belura Tower Settlement. But there's also one more thing, that lions are not the only one who are associated to storm nature. The storm hawks in Stormvale Castle are known for their connection to the storm nature, and in Shadow Realm beside Horn Warrior we also see divine bird warriors. Info about them is they were the first of all horned warriors. It is said that golden-hued divine birds are known to be cruel, shunning human companionship. Few have ever succeeded in invoking their divine power. It's an item description of divine bird armor set. All these warriors are very similar in nature, but we still haven't seen divine birds having anything storm related. So that might be a vague connection, but out of all of them, lions are much closely related to storm nature. This is why I'm thinking if there's a Stormlord, there's a much higher chance of being a lion instead of a dude on a chair or anything else in that regard. Now let us see which lion befits the crown to become the Stormlord. What I believe is the Stormlord and the forming of Stormvale Castle is much more recent than we think. By recent I mean I divide the whole Elden Ring timeline into 3 parts. One era which is before the Greater Will and the Age of Erdtree. So this is the possible era where we see the primitive and primordial version of the religions we see in the game now, and possible that Lands Between and Shadow Realm might have been in connection in that era. The second is the Age of Erdtree, when Queen Marika became the god and established Golden Order in the Lands Between. And the third one is the Age of Shattering. This is after the Shattering event, basically the present timeline where we entered as a Tarnished and we start a new era by becoming the Elden Lord. Reason of all this is Stormvale Castle was possibly formed in the second era, because everything in the first era has a very different and unique architecture style and structures. This includes the Divine Tower, the runes we see in the Lands Between as well as in the ancient ruins of Rao. The reason of this is we can only count the lions in the Lands Between, and the only lions we came across in Lands Between. Number 1, the main guess is Serosh, but on second thought there are also the Goth lions in all the castles. Stormvale Castle, Redmane Castle, and even in Castle SOTE. The reason for Redmane Castle just could be that Radahn is a fanboy of Godfrey and he has everything lion merchandise, probably unrelated to this whole theory. So let's just leave the Redmane Castle out of this. So those lions worth mentioning as the Castle Souls lions are also have the ability to use Ice Element. But all of this is not really that important as they are lesser lions. The only possibility is Serosh being the Stormlord. Serosh being the companion of Godfrey, and both together are depicted in paintings and statues at Stormvale Castle. If we are approving with this theory, a known fact need to be mentioned is Godfrey is stated that he beat the shit out of the Stormlord. This is the one segment the whole theory relies on. The thing is, we aren't sure when Godfrey and Serosh met in Elden Ring timeline. Serosh was the reason for Godfrey to let his barbaric past of Horolu behind to become the Elden Lord. Till then, Serosh might have existed as an undefeated Stormlord, and Horolu was sent to defeat him. On the defeat of the Stormlord in an honorable battle, he decided to assist Horolu/Godfrey and become his advisor and companion for eternity on behalf of Queen Marika's order. After this, Serosh, no longer known as the ruler of Stormvale, and Stormvale Castle becomes the part of Golden Order regime. As of now, Serosh being under Marika's rule, he had to forbid his use of Storm, leaving no trace of divinity inside of him. But his influence never stopped affecting the people across the lands between. He still passed the usage of Storm and its element to his faithful followers, the veterans, Commander Niall and Commander O'Neill, banished knights and exiled soldiers, now faithful to Godfrey as well on behalf of their used to be Stormlord. Then I wonder why a lion can stay this close to Marika, Serosh being the buddy of Godfrey, also a lion, also being the biggest rival of Queen Marika. The reason I thought of this is throughout the game we have seen Queen Marika conquering lands, which involves destroying their religion and stripping their people away from their gods, but leaving one sole survivor as to remind what they were used to be. We see that in the fire giant case, the three fingers in the basement of Lindell, like truly a psychopath behavior. But even Queen Marika is also the victim of this. In Shadow Realm, Hornsen completely destroyed the Shaman village, the home of Marika, torturing all the villagers for eternity by stuffing them in jars. A one cruel fate, and leaving Queen Marika as a symbol of what they were used to be. And that was their biggest mistake, as she ascended to godhood and take her revenge over the whole Hornsen civilization. All of this is a pattern, and letting Serosh survive could be part of this pattern. After all, Serosh being the sole protector of its people, being the highest of all divine beasts, and letting him survive was Queen Marika's plan. And if you are thinking why is Serosh being the highest of all divine beasts, well, throughout the game we have seen Serosh being the only beast / lion with mind of its own. Other are just puppets controlled by sculpted keepers, and these are lesser lions, so don't think about them. Now, we can't necessarily say that Storm is an actual complete religion in the lands between, like Golden Order. It's more like a cult, like the dragon cult we see in Lindell. The religion those dragon cult soldiers solely follows is the Golden Order. I think we can see the vision of Serosh to make people aware of his culture and religion. Not only about the Storm, but this could be possibility that Omen curse exists in the lands between is by bringing Serosh under the Earth Tree. Doesn't matter horned creatures are considered divine in terms of old cultures, because in the eyes of Golden Order and Greater Will, they are blasphemous. Plus this also kind of proves the presence of omens only in Altus Plateau and Lindell. Now this is by far the biggest lore drop in this video. I want to tell you that Serosh is the reason of Mohg and Morgoth being the omens. Serosh and Godfrey being together for so long as their bond between them become more stronger, their respect and mutual understanding grows, and providing Mohg and Morgoth the forgotten divinity was a gift to Godfrey. And because of this, Queen Marika realized that her plan backfired. After all this, Queen Marika only has seen Serosh as a complete threat to the Golden Order, and seeing Godfrey has no use to her anymore, and Serosh never leaving the companionship of Godfrey, ultimately letting Marika making the decision to exile Godfrey from the lands between. And because of Godfrey and Serosh exile, the Stormvale Castle remained without a ruler, and eventually Godric the Golden taking the throne for himself and becoming the current ruler of Stormvale Castle. This is a possible story that could exist, maybe it's just all speculation, but it is quite important to have a look because they haven't specially said anything clearly about Stormlord even in the DLC. These implications strikes a new speculation which further expands this theory. This segment is not directly related to Stormlord, but it is worth mentioning. Even I have mentioned this in my video before DLC was launched. The statement is Godfrey's exile was actually in the Shadow Realm. This might be just a speculation, but surprisingly there is some proof related to Godfrey in Shadow Realm. In the Shadow Realm, we see Mesmer soldiers possess the ability of earth shaking and war cries, a key component of barbaric nature. They even use axes and round shields, which we only see that has a barbaric origin. These are stated attributes of barbarians in Elden Ring. By this we can assume that Mesmer soldiers were also used to follow Godfrey as well. We can assume that there might existed a brief alliance among Mesmer and Godfrey during his exile in the Shadow Realm. Maybe Godfrey taught them the ability of his barbaric past. We even found a talisman related to Godfrey in Shadowkeep as well, the Talisman of Lord's Bestowal. All of this is kind of a proof of the presence of Godfrey in the Shadow Realm.
Don't you dare approach Mikula the Cat.
Fight back, nigga! Fight back, nigga! Fight back!
Ancient place.
The only thing that can disprove this theory is the lack of horns on Serosh, because horn is kind of the main thing of Divine Beast. Instead we see a fairly normal looking lion. It could be a design choice, after all the DLC and the base game are 2 years apart. So there might be some vision differences between the first thoughts on Divine Beast and what we have now. Or he could have the same omen treatment of getting the horns removed. But still, even after the horns removed, leaves the stump behind. Well, I don't know about that. What do you guys say? In conclusion of this video, the first 70% of the video is focused on the Stormlord and everything we could find in the lands between and in Shadow Realm. And the later part is implications and speculation on top of this theory. There is still a lot of incomplete stories from the base game and now newly introduced lore. All of this, the DLC, everything was planned. It was cut content. Shadow of the Earth Tree was completed way before the release. They're just having a vacation for 2 years. Elden Ring 2 is in development with 2 DLC planned. They are working on Sekiro 2, Bloodborne PC port, well, maybe too far, but this is never going to end. If you have watched through the whole video, thank you so much. We are so close to 1000 subscribers. I'll be making more lore videos soon. I have some more things in mind and some shit I've found. So stay tuned for that, and thanks for watching.